Hey everyone, welcome to Season 1, Episode 9 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Good eye, Tim.
Oh no.
Shrimp on the bobby.
Oh no.
Foster's, Australian phobia.
Oh man, this is unfortunate. We're going to, I guess, do 2 episodes in a row of accents.
I'm done, I promise. Koala bear, I'm done. I'm done. I'm really done.
Okay. Although apparently one of them was an American.
Yeah,
Reading that correctly?
Yeah, John Philip Law, definitely from California.
Yeah, but the rest of them, yeah.
John Philip Law from California playing a Dutchman.
A Dutchman.
He doesn't even attempt an accent.
There's 2 things I hate in this world, or I'm tolerant of. What is it? I can't. What's the line?
2 things I hate in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's nationalities, and the Dutch.
Dutch hater. So
Attack Force Z.
I guess you have. This is your pick, right?
Yeah.
So you have to do the little plot description, and I don't know if you also want to. I don't know if you looked into it, but the whole weird hiccup with the director too. I don't know if you want to throw that.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to throw that in there with the little plot thing, because that sounded interesting.
Sure. So Attack Force Z, or Attack Force Zeta, is
which, by the way, it's historically real thing, even though it does sound completely made up.
Yeah. It's a little group of commandos made up of mostly Australian, but also have some Kiwi and a Brit and a Dutchman in there. Decide on a mission to go onto an island. I don't think they ever said the name of the damn thing. Somewhere in the South Pacific, to grab a Japanese defector who supposedly can end the war somehow. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, so that's it. That's the thing. That's the movie.
Which, by the way, you don't really discover that's their mission till like more than halfway through the mission.
Oh yeah,
the movie.
It's in this hour and 28-minute movie. You find this information out like hour and 10 minutes or something like that.
Yes, it's really crazy.
And they never explain how he could end the war. They just say, this guy could end the war. I'm like, all right. Sorry, I did the accent again.
Yeah, well, I guess he's some kind of a diplomat. There's an American diplomat, and you know, it takes a while just to learn that there's why they're there, that there's a plane down, and then they don't know that there's a plane down, and so it really drags. It really takes some time to get there.
Yeah, well, originally, like you alluded to, Philip Noyce was going to direct this movie. He was writing the script and everything.
And he's done some stuff, right?
Philip Noyce is a great director.
Yeah.
You know, he got Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, Time Cop. The guy knows how to make an action movie.
Yeah.
And he got really angry at the producer's choice to cast John Philip Law as his lead star. He's like, no, this is not who I wanted. So he left, and this new guy took over, Tim Burstall.
Yeah, okay.
And looking through his IMDb, he has done nothing. Anyway, he kind of rewrote some things and directed it, and boy, did the producer screw up.
Yeah, it sounds like, too, like he was going to bring in way more colonialism and like imperialism into his version.
Yep.
Which sounds like a way better movie.
Well, look at his IMDb, his directorial efforts. Philip Noyce, established, excellent action director. And this guy I've never heard of. I've never seen anything else he's ever done.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start off with Hero, which you told me you have just went off and decided that there is no clear-cut one hero. The whole troop is the hero, so you kind of categorize them all one, which I thought was fair, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, technically the lead is... what's his name again? I've already forgotten his name.
Law,
he's so forgettable.
Veach, something Veach, right?
John Philip Law, who's playing Veach.
Yeah.
Everybody tries their hardest to mispronounce his name. It's like,
and he's like kind of separated on his own for like a chunk of the movie. Too.
Yeah, eventually tell his backstory. He is his family grew up in the area. They were sailors, tradesmen, and the Japanese have killed his family, so he's joined the Zeta group to get it back.
Yeah.
Doesn't care for the Japanese.
No.
And yeah, he's a translator, knows Mandarin.
Right.
And he seems to have a soft spot for all the locals who are there.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's the nature of this Z unit or whatever, if this was historically accurate. But apparently there's more than one interpreter in this group, which again, you don't kind of figure out and learn till later, like, oh, he's a translator too. Okay. Which is the Sam Neill character.
It certainly makes you question the usefulness of Veach.
Yeah. Why? Because Sam Neill's doing an A-OK job, because I'm pretty sure that you see him understanding both Chinese, Mandarin, and Japanese.
Yeah, and he seems to even know the music. Sam Neill knows what he's talking.
Picked up. I know. I noticed that. Oh, he's like a professor or something. He knew the music and he knew that it was Chinese and not Japanese.
Yeah. He's like, it's Mandarin, actually. It's like, okay, Sam Neill.
He's very, very useful.
Yeah. So like Veach,
character.
What makes you special? And the fact that he's not even Australian or New Zealand or anything is extra weird. I don't know if they made that as like a last minute change because he was an American actor and they decided, he can't do an accent at all.
Do you recall? Because the movie starts off with no dialogue for quite a while, and it takes a while to get going. For some reason, we have to see them setting up these rafts on
got
the
a
top
kayak
of
onto the island.
Kind of stuff. We see every bit of that kayaking, and then they're going through, and then there's like a quick couple shots, and one of them gets wounded, and I think it was in the leg or something.
Yeah, the Kiwi,
right?
the New Zealander.
Yeah. And I guess he was supposed to be one of the stars or something. Like he seemed to be a name of some kind.
Oh, he's one of Zeta, so they had to put his name up there.
Well, no, I mean like the actor, I guess. I guess maybe he's a bigger Australian actor or something. I don't know. Maybe it was a big deal that he dies there at the beginning because they kill their own man because I guess they can't carry him around and they don't want their position to be known, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't trust him not to go up under torture.
Yeah, which is the one that... Is it Mel Gibson's character that takes him out? I don't remember which one.
No, Sam Neill.
It's Sam Neill's character. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. I couldn't remember.
Well, let's break down each character by character before we go into the specifics.
So who do you want to start with? Do you want to start with our main main guy?
Well, we did Veach. We've talked about Veach enough.
Did we? Did we talk about Veach enough?
Well, as far as setting up who his character is.
Okay.
Really hates the Japanese, into the Chinese,
right.
Wants revenge.
He's the only one that really has somewhat of a backstory.
Okay, and then we got Mel Gibson as the young captain who's leading this whole thing.
And this is his kind of first
job
mission.
Out leading. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was part of this group beforehand because they do mention how he has like they all have bounties on their heads from previous missions, and he has none because this is like his first. And I guess they're kind of insinuating as it goes that. I'm not sure they are putting this out, or it's Mel Gibson's character seems to be very paranoid that they are not sure or uneasy about his orders because he's the new guy.
Yeah, his first time out, fresh out of the academy, I'm guessing, since he's a captain. Yeah. So he's just very by the book and strict.
Right.
And then
not a lot of personality to him.
No, not really. Then we have,
which is weird for Mel Gibson.
All right, we'll go into this right now. I don't care. Okay. What's up with Mel Gibson at this point in his career? He has, when he's using his Australian accent, his natural Australian accent, he has this like high pitchedness to him. He's like softness to his voice that he.
Yeah. I
don't know what happens. Like a year or two later, all of a sudden his voice drops. Like he goes through puberty. I don't know if it was Peter Hyams who told him like, you got to drop that. You got to go baritone on this.
It's the same year, man. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Road Warrior is not as high pitched.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. Well, we'll rewatch it.
It's been a long time. You've actually probably most recently watched Road Warrior than I have because I remember being the one who saw it, and I was like, "Dude, I love Road Warrior. You got to see it." So yeah, you probably have a more recent viewing of it than I do.
But he has the same high-pitched Australian in Gallipoli and the original Mad Max, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's because eventually he gets very much a baritone in there and very grumbly.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know if it's when he's starting to do more of an American.
No, when he shows up here,
accent.
he's like, "Good night, mate." It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, it threw me when I first heard him with an Australian accent because, most of my youth was the Lethal Weapon movies, and I always thought he was just an American person, like.
Well, technically he is.
Technically he is, yeah.
Born in Peekskill.
Yeah, that's right. Represent.
That's our hometown. And then they left because they wanted to dodge the draft, I think for his dad or his brother.
Yeah.
So they went to Australia. Anyway, and then we have Sam Neill as Costello, Sergeant Costello.
Yeah. Which I don't remember, other than he seems to pick up on music. He seems like a very intelligent person, speaks multiple languages. He seems a bit broken up about, not really that broken up. He seems like, well, this is a shame when he has to kill his own guy. But you don't get a whole lot from Sam Neill's character. He
seems like he's a no-nonsense type.
Yeah.
And he's got a big hat, because Sam Neill, if he's in a movie, you should put him in a big hat. He looks great in a big hat.
That's fair. Why not? Sure.
The man was born to wear a wide brim. I guess. Tell you.
Yeah, I guess that is a good point. It's interesting because one of my notes is how far removed or what is the timetable for his Bond foray when they what do you call it?
This time when he did his audition. Yeah,
okay.
Because he was going to be doing For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only.
That's very good. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, Roger was like, I don't know if I want to do another one after Moonraker. So I'm going to go out on top after I made all that money. And
yeah.
So they're like, well, let's, bring in some good. Sam Neill had done The Omen, the third Omen movie.
Okay.
And a couple of other things, like this Possession, this weird horror movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we like the cut of this guy's jib. So they brought him in for an audition. You can see it on the Blu-rays and even on YouTube, his audition.
Yeah, I've seen it before. It would have been interesting.
He would have been very interesting as a Bond.
Yeah.
I would have gotten into that Tim Dalton era early, I think.
It's weird. It's like I could see it, and I also can't see it at all. Because even in this, like, that's why it was one of the things that was interesting. I'm like, you don't really see Sam Neill in an action hero type often. I'm drawing blank of when you see it, because I mean,
outside of the Jurassic Park movies, that's as close.
Yeah, but is he that he does some good running around? He's fantastic.
Climb trees, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like he's firing guns and dodging explosions or anything like that. And so this was like an interesting thing to see, because it's like I knew for a long time that he was considered for Bond at one point. So I was like, oh, I wonder, was this movie something to do with it? Like they saw him in an action role here, and I've never really quite seen it. Yeah.
And our final member is, what was his name? Kingo.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Who is?
And he's the radio guy, right?
No. Oh, I forgot about him. Sorry. No.
Okay.
The radio guy who is Sparrow, Bird.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Seam Bird. He's the Brit. He's from England. And yes, his job is to carry the radio and grumble.
Yeah.
And then finally we have the final guy, sorry about that, is Kingo, who is from New Zealand, and this is an Australian movie, so he dies first.
Yeah. Of course.
They had to do the Kiwi draw.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we know everybody, we can get into it.
This movie is dark.
Yeah.
And to go from like, wow, okay, can this movie get going? And then like, it was a quick little gunfight, or really quick. It like it was like lasted seconds. I was like, oh well, that was a bummer. I thought we were gonna get into something to pick this movie up, and then you're like seeing the dialogue, and again, you have no idea why they're here. You have no like. No, you get kind of it's covert since the way they're coming onto the island, but it's just like they killed him.
Yep.
Like it made me think of Canadian Bacon.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Yes.
The guy sprains his ankle, so they just shoot.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be okay, right? Boom.
Yeah. Can't slow us down. We can't trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just shoot the guy, and then 2 seconds later, they run into like this Chinese farmer who gives them directions.
Yep. Helps him out.
And they kill him too.
He's got to go.
So literally the first 10 minutes of this movie, they have killed as many good people as they have Japanese soldiers.
Yeah. I mean, there seems to be like on a regular basis where like, crap, we ran into some more people here. And like, oh, we got to take them out too. Like I think they even make a joke at one point about how many bodies they've already buried.
Yeah, they came out. They had to bury everybody. It's like, okay.
Because their presence can't be known. And of course, we have no idea why.
Nope.
And no idea what they're doing.
No clue.
Eventually you figure out there's a plane, but you don't know why.
It's like, there's people on that plane. We got to look for survivors.
Yeah. And eventually you figure out that there's Americans on the plane, but then you don't understand or know why that's important.
Nope.
Man, I can't emphasize how annoying that was to figure that out. So do you have a lot of notes on the heroes? Because you don't get a whole lot from them. And I feel like there is a slight weird, interesting romantic thing here, but I feel like you probably want to save that for the sidekick conversation, I guess. So I mean, I don't really know how much to say. Again, you do get a little bit of a backstory with Veach. He does have a little bit of a romantic lead. Mel Gibson's kind of more the straight-laced, gruff, like we gotta, buy the book type of thing. And then you get a couple of comments here or there from everybody else, but they all kind of nod and go along with it, I guess. So you don't get a whole lot of anything.
No, the only thing I have written down, and it probably should have been in the action part, but there's this scene where they're at this temple. And Veach goes after one of the Japanese soldiers who are running off. Gotta get him. Can't let anybody know. Yeah. And somehow he beats him to his command center. I don't know how he knew where it was, but he did.
No idea.
And he kind of like kills the guy that was already there, hangs him up like a slasher villain.
Yeah. And he was hiding behind the door.
Yeah. And then kills the guy. I'm like, wow, this is really silly, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know where everybody else was. They were taking a stroll, I guess. I don't know.
No, they were just like, they'd done their job. They got everyone else at the temple. He was going after the one
straggler. It seemed to go
straggler.
on for a while, him kind of running after the dude.
It was a long chase.
So I didn't even realize at first like that how far separated he got from everybody else.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was like, oh, okay, I guess he really is. He can't just hop, skip, and jump back to the rest of his guys.
No, they got to move on. Got to get the mission done.
Yeah, I guess so. I forget who says it, but someone does have a funny line about, I think it's the radio guy, because he's complaining about the hike or something, because they're going through the jungle and something like that, and he's kind of frustrated by Mel Gibson's character, who's kind of like, march on, right? And he's like, hey, I'm not a bloody mountain goat. And for some odd reason, that made me laugh. Like it was greatly delivered. Yeah. And then they were like, fine. And this is not me. This is what they're calling the character. Get the Chinaman to do it. And then like he goes down and he's like, no, I got it. And it was like, okay, so this scene was useless, but at least it made me laugh. But okay.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm glad you got a laugh out of it. I just thought it completely like, what? What are we doing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't have a whole lot to go with on here, right? I mean, you do have Mel Gibson's speech, I guess, at the end, towards the end, before the big final thing, to try to corral everybody, the villagers to fight on their side, type of deal.
I can't tell you we're friends, but you're in this war. Let's kill some Japanese.
Yeah, basically.
I did it again. I'm sorry. I promise I would.
You're okay. So it's like. Yeah, I definitely was not convinced. It was like, we don't exactly like each other, but hey, they're worse, right? And we don't like them either. It's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend or something, whatever, right? I guess.
And yeah, like you said, you mentioned Veach with his romance with the Chinese resistant leader's daughter. That's and it's fine. It's weird, but it's okay. I gave Hero a 2, and it's a generous 2.
Same, actually. I'm kind of shocked. I thought you might have been mad that I did give it a 2, but
you thought I was going to go lower. I thought you for sure you were.
It's mostly because man, this could have been so much worse if it wasn't for Sam Neill and at least,
Mel Gibson.
Just seeing these, like, wow, I can't believe these two people came out of it. Like these two people were in this movie. It's such an early movie. They're so babyface. It's like it's kind of interesting when you have these like really early movies and like, oh my gosh, these people are going to be huge. Like
the camera loves them, especially Neil in this movie. I think.
Yeah.
They're captivating to look at, and they're interesting performers. And despite having almost zero characterization, they shine through. It's incredible. It's really an achievement for the both of them.
Did you, like, one thing I was curious about is, because I was like, man, is there anything I missed? Because, again, like, I didn't have much here for Heroes and such. So I was like, well, let me see what reviews other reviewers said, right? And there is not much.
Nope.
I really struggled to find reviews. And most of the reviews that I did find was mostly Australian people.
Sure.
And a lot of them are, oh my God, I love this movie. I'm so happy that it's on Blu-ray. And then there's like there's like other people that are angry because the quality is so bad.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was interesting because like we streamed it. We both made the same comment to each other. Like, this quality is trash. Like the aspect ratio is off. Things are cut off. It's not good.
It looks like a digitized version of a VHS copy, a bad VHS, like a copy of a copy. And yeah, it hardcore sucks.
Yeah.
And I have some distressing news. It's going to hurt your soul, by the way. This thing was free on YouTube with no commercials.
With no commercials?
Yeah.
Oh. That is hurtful because, as I was telling you, and I'm sorry anyone else audience-wise, the commercials on this particular movie on this app were brutal.
Plex, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 20 minutes plus of commercials watching this movie.
Yeah, because each time you hit a commercial, it was 2+ minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds really like first world problems, but
it is. But it's frustrating because it's like every like 10, 15 minutes we're getting another bunch of commercials, and it adds up. You're like, oh.
Yeah. And it's not like a hot good movie to begin with, so it's just like, oh man.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to
Villain. I have even less.
I also have less. The Japanese army. Bum bum bum.
Basically, I really love the Japanese general, and then I'm not sure what he is because apparently I looked at the goofs and apparently they're inconsistently clear on what.
I just called him the commander. I saw one person call him a colonel. I'm like, was he? I don't know.
I don't know. I was trying to look at the stars on his thing. I'm like, I don't. This is not even accurate. But
the commander, the guy in charge.
Yeah, the guy in charge. His second hands. They're on like the motorbike and the little
I have it written down too.
Second seater, right? And like. And the rest of them are just marching behind them through the jungle. It's like, well, it's real messed up.
How slow could they must have been going?
Yeah,
if they were marching behind them, like right behind them. And I'm sorry, but there is no way to look dignified in the sidecar of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Apologies to the Japanese commander. You look ridiculous.
It really does.
You could have at least been driving the bike.
Because this is quite a trek of like island they're going all around. So I guess the main way they're getting around is marching behind the bike, and it's like, man,
yeah,
not efficient.
It's funny too in this movie. It seems like everywhere is like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah,
on the island, but for some reason, the Japanese soldiers almost never hear the gunfire.
Never
from far off.
Although, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of insane. The right-hand man guy, right?
Yeah,
the second in command, has a weird thing with children in this movie.
Doesn't like them.
It really doesn't. He's either trying to or threatening to kill children multiple times.
He's super bloodthirsty. It's just like these are pretty much the end of my notes. Like we have, the commander is a little more level-headed. He'll do whatever he needs to get the job done, but his lieutenant is bloodthirsty, wants to chop off arms left and right, especially the kids.
Yeah, if the commander wasn't there, and the commander, I was liking him until they did the English dub on him. which
yeah, that's
sounded
unfortunate.
real rough. Which, speaking of, the way this movie, and I don't know if it was there originally or if this is in whatever edit we got, but when they decide to put subtitles and when they don't, there is no rhyme or reason to it.
Nope.
So sometimes you're like, I guess I get the gist of what they're trying to say to each other. And then other times it's like, oh, there's subtitles. And then other times there's bad dubbing. And it's like, it is all over the place.
Yeah. No, it's really sloppy.
Yeah. But otherwise, that's it. You don't really you just get basic soldiers, and then you get the commander and the right hand, and that's it.
Well, there's a scene later on in the movie when the good guys are trying to escape from the city during a parade.
Right.
So that no one can see them, they can get the Japanese defector out of there. Mm-hmm. And the general while he's looking for these Australian Zeta team, he knows that are on the island at this point.
Yeah.
Decides to take in the parade. I'm like, wow, this is a weird time to take in the parade. But his sharp little eyes, he was able to spot the boots on one of the guys. Like, that's no Islanders wearing those boots. So good on him. Way to go. He dies immediately after. Bad showing, but he did spot them. So.
Nice knife to the chest, right?
Yeah, lots of throwing knives in this movie.
Yeah, how often do you look at another man's shoes, Patrick? I don't know.
He would have caught Andy Dufresne. He would have.
Yeah, he would have caught him. Yeah.
Shawshank should have hired him. So that's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got. One. It's a one.
You're right. I was going to give it a 1.5 because the Japanese army in World War II were pretty freaking great at their job.
They were
horrible, but they were great at their job.
Did you notice at one point, which we'll talk about later in action, but like, it's just I'm curious. I don't feel like there's many actual Japanese involved in this movie, because I know like a lot of the automobiles and that we get are American. The guns that the Japanese are using are American. Nothing.
I didn't even catch up on that. That's interesting.
Accurate there, yeah. The fun machine gun that Mel Gibson gets later that we'll talk about in action. That's an American gun. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, no, it's one.
I'll say this: they're not bumbling. They're
I guess.
They're
especially
kind of competent.
In that end battle too, there's like they're just running straight on at people and just dying in droves, and it's a little Star Wars-ish.
All right, one it is.
That is again action.
You win. I tried to fight for that half point.
No, yeah,
you win.
I mean, the commander, besides the English dubbing, was okay.
Yeah.
And the Psycho, I thought,
he looked
did a
so
fine
familiar
job.
to me. I swear to God, I had seen him in another movie. I might have seen him in some kung fu movie that I didn't catch, but I was looking through. I'm like, no, I don't remember seeing any of these kung fu movies, but he's been in a ton of them.
But yeah, one.
Okay.
One. So action. The amount of surprise! I'm on the roof behind you.
Yes.
Gunfires to the back is insane because it happens throughout the movie.
3 times. This is the go-to Zeta move.
Yeah. They're very fast climbers.
Yes. I wrote this down too. I was like, wow, Sam Neill got up there like a monkey. He got up there real fast. And then Veach does the move twice more. It's like, well, this must have been losing training. Like, when in doubt, fellas, get on top of a roof. The high ground. Like Obi-Wan.
The high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we saw that training mission. You didn't climb that wall fast enough. Sorry, again. Why do I need to do this, sir?
Lighter.
You don't know when there's soldiers coming and you need to sneak up behind them. You got to climb up to the roof.
But we're doing jungle warfare. How often are we going to have this opportunity? You don't know. All right.
Yeah.
They 3 times they do this shot. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's a lot of quick just gunfire that happens pretty quickly. A lot, again, kind of standing around, not a whole lot of fun to it. I say the standouts for action in this movie is when they meet the dad, the Chinese villager dad.
Yes. When they're at the farmhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, in the farmhouse. His action sequence, I enjoyed.
Yeah, I have this. I queue this up. I'm watching this. It's in the trailer. That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
Where he does this move where he falls down.
Yes.
And then he like kickstands his back up and hits the guy in the face. I'm like, oh, that was
awesome.
Cool.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's about all you get.
Never gets that good again.
No, I want more of that. That was actually really cool.
Yeah.
It was like the first time you got some like lightning almost in the movie. Like, whoa, all right.
And it's so sad too because like he joins throughout the rest of the movie. He's the head. Yeah. Turns out he's the head of the resistance on the island. And you're just waiting for him to do something really cool like that again. Never happens.
Nope. He's basically for the rest of the movie, he's got knives, or he's given a gun, and basically uses a handgun while everybody else is using machine guns. Interesting enough for the rest. Although towards the end, I think he gets a shotgun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just turns into gunfire again. It just kind of bland. It's just a bummer because it's a really cool moment in the movie, and then really the big, action set piece, I guess, is that whole ending battle sequence in the village as they're trying to get out.
Yeah, the the escape from the island because they're gonna the Japanese have discovered their boats, their kayaks, so they realize which if you're getting out a defector and you need to bring them with you, I don't know why they brought kayaks. There's no room for another human being in them.
I guess
how you getting that guy
assuming
out?
Somebody was going to die.
Yeah, they're just planning on it. They were always plotting the Kiwis' death. I knew it. So they're going to go to the other side of the island to go get the fishing boats.
Yeah.
And it is like a Wild Bunch ending of just mass chaos, pew-pews.
Yeah.
And barricades and people.
Everyone dying.
Yep.
Everyone died. It is really like, whoa.
Yeah, like when Sam Neill died, I was really bummed out. But like you have the Brit dies, because he did his one job is to carry around this stupid radio, which they never use.
No, well, I think they use it once, and I don't think it's a radio. I think it's like a Morse code or something. I think they do show a shot of him using it once.
Communication device. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, it gets shot. He takes it off, and he gets immediately shot in the back right after again.
Yeah.
Never take that off. What are you doing?
It's really messed up.
Buddy.
He complains about it, and it would have protected him and kept him alive.
Yes, that was your one job. Keep it on. Anyway, he's dead. And then Sam Neill heroically sacrifices his life when Mel Gibson runs out of bullets to throw a grenade at these machine gunners. Gives away his position, gets gunned down, but he takes out those machine gunners.
He does. He blows them up. Rules. Yeah.
And Mel Gibson then gets onto the boat with the defector, only to discover the defector actually got shot at some point during the gunfight.
During that whole skirmish and dies.
This whole mission was for nothing.
And the American diplomat dies in this excursion as well.
Was he a diplomat or just the pilot? Because
I thought he worked for the American government as well or something.
I'm sure he did. I thought he was like the pilot of the plane.
I don't know, but he dies.
He's armed. He's shooting.
Yeah, everybody dies. The only two people who live is the daughter of the Veach's romantic lead and Mel Gibson. That's it. And they're not together. Obviously, at the end, they're in two different spots. Everyone else dies
because Veach has decided to stay.
Yeah, which is weird. I'm like, they're all cool with it. I'm like, aren't you like a deserter now?
Oh, he's in love with the daughter, and he's going to keep on fighting the Japanese on this island to... Well, you know what? What are they going to do?
That's desertion, man. You're abandoning your post. I don't know.
He's not even... He doesn't live in Australia. He's Dutch. So he doesn't care if he can't go back to Australia.
That's a good point, I guess.
I know. It's hard to remember that because he's an American.
Yeah.
Not even trying an accent.
It's a good point. But yeah, he's like, I'm going to stay and I'm going to fight. And they're all like on this wall in this narrow thing as everybody's again, all the Japanese soldiers straight line, just throwing guys at them basically.
Yeah, they're running at them like they're Indians in a John Ford movie. It's
ridiculous.
It's a bad move.
And it's only the dad, the Chinese dad there, the leader there of the movement who like tries to sneak up over. He's like on top of the roof, and he's got the Z's special tactic of I'm on the roof surprise, but
Yep.
he decides to get down off the roof anyway to try his surprise attack, and surprise dies. So yeah, everybody's dying left and right. It was shocking. It was definitely I was surprised. Everybody dying.
Yeah, it's dark at that end.
Yeah, I really thought Mel Gibson was going to die too. But I guess it's even more disturbing and messed up to know your first lead mission was a complete failure and everybody died.
Well, it's not a complete failure because they were given the orders to either bring the defector back or kill him, make sure he doesn't get, they don't find out about it. Which, man, I would have loved some kind of explanation for how he would have stopped the war, ended the war.
Yeah.
What convoluted reason did he not know? But
yeah, I don't know.
But, yep, that's it.
Yeah. I also like to, when Mel Gibson kind of does his own little Rambo moment where he grabs the giant gun.
Mm-hmm. He's got the Browning?
Yeah, to shoot and mow down people. Although he would have, because where he held it towards the barrel. He would have burned his hand royally.
Yeah. Bad move, man.
But it was cool looking.
Yeah, no, it was very John Rambo-esque.
Yeah, and they threw in some explosions there towards the end when they started doing grenades. Although there's you never see any fire; it's just kind of like smoke, kind of coming up. But yeah, I'm between two scores really here.
I also I got a couple things planned before we get to the score.
Okay.
First, I love that they used a miniature for the plane. They didn't want anyone they couldn't afford an airplane.
They couldn't afford it,
so they made a miniature on top of this hill. And they had that blow up, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute. I love miniatures."
Yeah,
it's, good job. Very
they should
obviously
bring miniatures back. I love miniatures.
Me too, man.
That's cool, man.
Especially when they're done right.
Yeah.
So that was a fun explosion.
I liked when they're all it explodes, and they're all looking at each other I don't know what's going on. Why'd they blow it up? And I'm like, cool. So they're confused too. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on either.
And we touched on this. The Chinese resistance leader, Lin.
Is that his name? Okay.
Yeah, he's throwing knives everywhere. That's his
everywhere.
go-to thing.
Yeah.
He does pick up a gun occasionally, but really
they toss him one in a skirmish, and Mel Gibson tells him to keep it.
Yeah, but really his knives are his thing.
Yeah.
So they're occasionally cool.
Yeah.
For some reason, this movie couldn't afford makeup at all. So if anybody got hurt or anything, for instance, when they're torturing the Chinese, what's her name? I'm sorry.
Oh, the daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
They burn her hand.
What's her name?
They put her
Chin Hao
in the pot. Yeah.
Chin Hao. They burn her. They put her hand into a scalding hot pot, but there's it's pale. Nothing ever happens.
I think they try to keep her mostly bandaged. Not.
Yeah, but they can see it when they lift her hand off of the pot. There's nothing there. It looks fine. What are you doing?
Yeah. You think too in that time period, people have already done cool stuff on the you could have figured something out there. I just think that was more lazy than no money. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of my action notes.
Yeah. So I'm kind of stuck between a 2 and 2.5.
I gave it a 2.
You gave it a 2,
but I can live with the 2.5
cool things. I don't know. I was going both ways. I'm I could easily do 2 here. If I feel I need to bump it up, I could go 2.5.
That makes me feel better about the Chinese soldiers getting such a bum rap with just a 1. So the 2.5 looks fine, I guess.
Okay.
It's a very generous 2.5. No,
it is a very generous 2.5.
Let's be honest with ourselves. The action kind of sucks in this movie.
No, it definitely sucks in this kind of movie. Well, let's put it down to 2.5. Let's put 2.
You're right. It's just a 2.
It's just a 2. I mean, I guess I was giving it the 2.5 because I thought that one move was really cool.
It is really good.
Yeah. And, I've seen better ending battle sequences, but yeah, I don't know, I was somewhat entertained with it. But yeah, I mean, it's a slog to get through sometimes at parts there. So yeah, I'm cool with 2.
Let's be true to ourselves, just a 2.
Yeah. So, sidekick.
Yep, well, we got Lin, the Chinese resistance leader, who is very useful, knows the whole island.
Yeah.
Pretty much they would not have done anything on this stupid island without him. Not well.
There's one point where he's totally withholding information, and I don't know why. He at one point knows where the people are that they need to know, and he doesn't tell them, and then they're walking, and then eventually it's revealed he knows, and it's like, why aren't you telling me? And then there's like a little standoff there, and then he tells them, and it's like, oh, okay, then let's go there then. Like, what?
Yeah,
why?
So he knows about the Japanese defector because he saved the people from the plane and hid them away from the Japanese soldiers. And Captain Gibson, I think it's Kelly is his actual. Yeah,
I think
Kelly.
so. Yeah.
Captain Kelly is like, what does he know? Like, okay, we both know, but we can't. We have to talk around this, and it has to be through a translator, Costello.
Yeah.
And it's weird. But so clearly, I think what it is that Lynn had been sworn to secrecy and didn't want to talk to them about it because he didn't want to betray that. But when Gibson was like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. So they kind of have to do like charades and stuff.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
like, clearly you're working.
Absolutely is.
We're all working for the same people, but somehow I can't put two and two together that I can't share this information with you. Like it's utter nonsense.
It's bad. Yep.
It really was a head scratcher moment. But other than that, yeah, he's very useful, I guess.
He is, and his daughter Chin Hao is also very useful. For this movie.
She is, and I thought even though they didn't do any kind of makeup or made it look good when they were burning, like she actually did a really good acting job.
She was,
yeah, like she had some good like facial expressions and tear going. Like it looked legit. Like I thought she did fantastic. Like I thought she was really good in it.
Yeah, no, she apparently did a lot of stuff in Taiwan, acting there.
Yeah,
and I think she mostly
a lot
stuck
of
to there.
things are from Taiwan, but it
in
sounds
this movie,
like she's still doing stuff.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No, she's also stood out as being like, this girl's good.
She's really good. And I would have liked the dad more if they let him do more. Yeah. I really wanted to see him fight more, but yeah. So, and I guess, and the daughter there is, which I thought was a little confusing because it was a little odd when the soldiers are talking about it and figuring out, oh, this is the wife in the photo. And then I guess they didn't understand that they thought she was the second wife or something and not the daughter at first. Right. And it took, again, a little while for that to get cleared up. So I was confused. Like, oh, okay, wait, no, daughter. Okay.
Yeah, no, because they look very similar in age.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't blame you. I was also like, and all the rest of the kids are like
much
4.
Younger. Yeah,
so
much younger.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, giant age gap there.
Yeah, no, I had the same confusion as you.
Yeah. But yeah, they're useful. And then the romance thing, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little creepy. Little
bit. Especially because, like, I got the implication as he looked like an older dude.
Yeah.
And she was looking young, So I was just like, I don't know, just felt a little predatory. Although, I guess she seemed interested. But yeah, then there was that one point where they had that awkward encounter at that little bunker, and then they slept together, and they just slept.
Just slept.
Dad didn't like that though. What Dad would, I guess. But
guess how old she was?
How old was she? I have no idea.
28.
Dang.
Yeah, I would have guessed like 20.
I know. How old was he?
Let's see. Where are you? Oh, yeah. I keep on scrolling down.
Although I guess it's pretty
forgetting he was the star of this movie.
In action movies, to have an older, like, star and romantically connected.
He was 44.
Yeah, okay. Still a gap.
Yeah. You know what he looks like, too? He looks like Terrence Stamp's boring American cousin. They have, like, the same cheekbone structure.
Interesting. Okay. I was thinking, like, a weird relative of Peter Weller or something.
I see that, too.
But okay. Okay, interesting. But yeah, so the The dad doesn't really talk much. I guess he gets a little bit more of speaking lines when he's trying to convince his fellow villagers. But yeah, it's the daughter that does all the heavy lifting. Yeah, and they're the ones passing notes and all that kind of stuff. And
she seems to be a super competent resistance fighter.
Yeah, she's there
doing all the dirty work
with everybody too.
Yep.
Like, so she can handle her own. To be honest, this might be your most like solid, like actual, like productive, has a place kind of sidekick that we've had in this season.
Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours.
Oh, for sure. No, he would be number one. I guess other than Eddie Murphy, this might be the second best kind of sidekick.
By far.
That we've had. Just because they're just useful and all that kind of stuff. I was kind of going 2.5, 3.
Ooh, okay. I could roll with a 2.5.
Yeah, because I thought she was really good in it, and I have to give the guy some kind of credit for that. At least that one awesome move that he had, and again, they're useful. And he might not have done a whole lot of talking and stuff, but the daughter sure did a heck of a lot. Acting.
She knows English fine because she apparently worked at a missionary somewhere.
Yeah.
The American missionary or something like that. But yeah, 2.5 is okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings our total to a 7.5.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it bumps up over Death Wish too.
I think that's fair. It's kind of interesting. I think this actually ended up going exactly the way I wanted it. My final, some things got shifted around on me on how we scored stuff, but I had it around a 7.5, 8.
That's what I did too. I had a 7.5. I couldn't.
Yeah, I had a slash 7.5, 8 because it was one of those ones was like I could go either way on a couple of those. So if depending on how I went, it was either going to come out to a 7.5 or an 8. So it kind of went right around where I thought.
So you enjoyed this more than I thought you would. It sounds
yeah, I mean, because it's boring. It's definitely not the most entertaining at all by all means. I think it's definitely interesting just to see Sam Neill and Mel Gibson in such an early point in their career, so that's interesting. Again, there was a couple of cool moments, I guess, but it's not great. But I mean, if you look at like our list here, I think it makes sense. Like I think I thought this movie was more interesting than Death Wish 2. Way more boring action and such, right? The Sword and the Sorcerer, I think this is a better movie than Sword and the Sorcerer.
By far.
Acting-wise, action-wise, all that, and obviously better than Sorcerers. So,
it is and it isn't as far as Sword and the Sorcerer, I want to point. I think Sword and the Sorcerer is more entertaining, mostly because it's badness, but it's also kind of funny, too.
Okay, fair enough.
And the production-wise, this movie is shot in a way that it looks like about the same quality as Steven Spielberg's childhood films. It looks like a after-school special, like that kind of quality we're looking at. So it's like it's so incompetent in parts, but it's like, yeah, wow, Sam Neill and Mel Gibson. That was a cool move. Oh, wow, this is kind of depressing. Stunning. Yeah, I didn't see this coming. So it's dark. Like it's so weird. I would never recommend this to watch to anybody.
No.
I was like, if you're a Sam Neill or a Mel Gibson completist, sure, give it a look. Otherwise,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, not that I want to rewatch any of these movies on this bottom list, including Sword and the Sorcerer, but I think you're right that there's more things to keep you locked in going throughout Sword and the Sorcerer than there is in this movie. But I still think it still has enough quality stuff in it that still put it over that. I think One Down, Two to Go, as much as that movie was insane, had way more fun, entertaining stuff in it. So I think it's
100%.
appropriately rated above
100%. Yeah.
So I think it's a fair placement. I think the score works.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I wrote down here. Mel Gibson talked about this movie later on in his career, and he called it the movie woeful and so bad it's funny. And I couldn't tell you how much it cost to make or how much money it made, but it bombed in Australia.
Yeah, I heard that it made its money in the video release.
Yeah, and well, it got released in America the year after, because this movie came out in 81 in Australia, but it got released in America in 82 because in early 82, Road Warrior came out in America, and that was huge. Like, oh, we got this other Mel Gibson movie we can get for cheap out in the theaters. And give
that makes sense, yeah.
So it made its money back.
Because it was Road Warrior 2 that blew him up, right?
Yeah.
That's what kind of...
Yeah, that's what made Mel Gibson a star. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
That's all I got to say about that.
I think that's about... that's about all I have. I thought it was weird that, I'm going to stay here and I'm not going to go back, right, from Beach, and all you get is a passionate kiss on the cheek. Is the most romance we get. But other than that, yeah, that's about all I have as well.
Okay. So what are we watching next week, Tim?
Oh, man. So I think I have this picked.
Cool.
Yeah. You might hate me, though.
Intriguing.
Well, because I don't know if this is going to give it away, but I know you can get frustrated when I watch anything that involves a classroom, a teacher, or education in general. Because if audience not aware, I'm an educator. I am a teacher, and so every time I see this stuff pop up in film, TV shows, anything where I'm like, I have a problem holding my tongue on what I'm witnessing.
This would never happen.
Yeah. I mean, whether somebody is like, yeah, that person's a 40-year-old man, that is not a high schooler, or, like, if I were to do that in a classroom, I would lose my job and be arrested, that kind of stuff. Like I will always be quick to make these comments. So in spite of that, I think this will help because this movie sounds so absurd that I feel like that I will not make these comments as much. Class of 1984.
Canadian exploitation. Let's go.
It's on Freevee, and I have to say I watched. I was trying to prep and pick which one. I was going to pick this one or Swamp Thing. Although I looked at Swamp Thing and it said sci-fi horror, so I was like, "Is we supposed to do this on this one?" But it is a comic book character. I don't know. But I decided to go with Class of 1984, and I decided to watch the trailer. And oh boy, I think we're all in for a little bit of a treat here.
I think it
seems insane.
Yeah.
It is nutty what it looks like in the trailer. And did you see that the guy who made Class of 1984 decided to make a sequel in 1990 called Class of 1999?
No, I did not.
Apparently there's robots involved.
Outstanding. I wish you were watching that movie.
But no, we got basically the premise of this one is this guy is a teacher and he's at such a bad school that the gangs and the kids are so bad and misbehaved that he's basically got to take matters into his own hands type of deal. At one point in the trailer, it is not the main character, but there is a teacher holding a handgun to a kid's face in the middle of class.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So Lean on Me, but insane.
Yeah.
Fun.
It really looks insanely out there. I think we're going to get some fun over the top acting in this one. I just seen the trailer. I feel like where there's going to be a lot of times where we go, what?
All right, I'm in. Say no more.
So I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Good eye, everybody.
Oh, no, there it is.